Hey, Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. Yeah, she's standing up on my chair. She wants me to. She likes her hugs. She just loves to be petted. Come on, down. Go on. Anyway, so much about the shop dog. Down. Go on. Now she's gonna just stand there. Anyway, my name's Russ. Welcome back to the shop. This is my year-end or my beginning of the year video. I know it's running late. Man, I can't believe I've gone almost 2 months without a video. That's definitely first time. I've been doing videos for almost 7 years now. And next month, or April, it'll be 7 months. 7 years. So anyway, I just can't hardly believe it. I used to do 1 to 2 videos a week. And last year, I only did 33 videos, so that was a very slow year for me. But I had a lot going on in my head and different things. Anyway, plus really one of the projects, that one right there, that thing took a lot of thought, took a lot of research for me to be able to do that, because that's something I've never really done before. So anyway, I'm very happy to have it. In fact, just for the record, I had to use it. In 1st of January around here, the weather got down below 0. That's 0 degrees Fahrenheit. And it was there for over a week, even during the day. Never went above 0. So, kind of unusual for it to get that cold for that long a period of time in this neck of the woods. But that's what it was. Anyway, right in the middle of that, one night, I was asleep, and I woke up about 11:30. And I could tell the power was out. There was the way it was so dark. I looked out the window, and sure enough, there were no lights from the neighborhood out there either. So I knew immediately the power was out. So I went and checked the temperature first thing in the house, and we'd already lost 1 degree, however long it was off. It had lost 1 degree already. So I figured by morning it would probably be a little nippy in that house if I didn't do something. So I decided to go ahead and fire up the HBS and just run off of it for the night, and I'll deal with this in the morning. So I came out, got dressed, walked back to my main panel, turned off the main breaker, as you need to, and I also turned off the breaker to the shop here from the house. And I came out to the shop, fired up the machine, plugged it into the proper plug-in over at the panel here. Checked to make sure it was putting out 240 volts. Everything looked good. I hit the breaker and I had power on in the shop. So, and everything was running good. I checked, the furnace came on. And so I could just tell everything was going to be back fine. So then I walked back in the house and I turned on the breaker to the shop, making sure that the main breaker was still off. And then boom, I now have power in the house completely. I could tell by the way the lights came on, and I actually heard the refrigerator come on in the kitchen. So that told me that things are back up. So I just checked to make sure the furnace was running, and then I went back in and went back to bed. The whole thing took me less than 7 minutes, and I had power the rest of the night. I got up at about 5:30. I woke up, and I just kind of glanced over and looked outside, and I could see the lights were on across the street again. The nights that are usually on at night. So I got up and looked out real good, and sure enough, you could see lights in the whole neighborhood were on. So I went back to the main breaker box. I turned off the breaker to the shop. So now the house is completely off power again, either from my HBS and from the main power. Reached up, turned the main power on, and boom, everything came back on. So, and rather than coming all the way back out to the house, because I wasn't going to get up at 5:30, I went back to bed, slept until my normal time, close to 8 o'clock, got up, got dressed for the day, had some coffee, came out here to the shop by probably 9:30, and I switched it back over, turned off the power, the inverter, went back in the house, turned on the breaker, came out, and I'm back on here. Anyway, the whole thing all night long, it ran for about 6 hours, 5 hours on HBS, the whole house, everything. And then ran on it an additional 2 hours or so out here. So, and switching it back and forth is 5 minutes work each way at the most. So, I'm very happy with the way it works. It works just like it's supposed to. I can plug it in when I need it. When I got done, I plugged in the other power cord instead. Unplugged the power feed and plugged in the charging plug-in and charged it back up. So a couple, 3 hours later, it was fully charged, ready to go again. So I'm very happy with it. It's going to work great for these short bursts like this. And that was a perfect night to test it with the furnaces going in both the house and the shop. And really working because it was very, very cold. So normally I would have just waited till morning. But when I thought about it and I knew it was going to get cold, I thought this is the time to test it. So I was pretty pleased with the way it works. So anyway, if you have any questions about this, about how it works or anything, I can go over and answer your question. But it does appear to do exactly what I wanted it to do. So, oh, check this out. I found this band here. It's a headband. And this is a light, and there's a light right here. So anyway, and you turn it on from over here. Come on. You have your front headlights, so your front light, so you can see. Anyway, you know what these headband lights are like. It also has a faraway light, which shines pretty good when you're out and about. So I've had it on my hat here for a couple of days. It also has a hand thing where you wave your hand and it'll turn it on and off, but I don't use that because with the brim of the hat. Anyway, I thought I'd try it on my hat because a couple times when I go out and when it's dark, it's nice to be able to turn that on and be able to see what's going on and still keep going. So, but it was like $11 off of Amazon. It's just one of those stretchy headbands with a light. And this one has the double light, has both the forehead light and the side light for far away. So like if you go outside with flashlight. So I like it. It works real well. And I thought I'd try it on my hat, even though it covers up my ID. I've been having it up there to try to use it and see how it works if I'm working on close to here and I need more light. Although here I get plenty of light. So anyway, I thought that was interesting the way it actually fits on the hat. So much for my rambling. So let's talk about this year. Now that we know what I didn't do last year, I didn't do much in the way of woodworking projects at all. And I have been told that I really don't do enough woodworking projects. And you're right, I don't. I like doing my woodworking, but I don't really have anybody else I make woodworking stuff for like I used to since I'm retired. So I don't do as many woodworking projects, and my shop is probably pretty much set in its ways, if you know what I mean. I've been here 12 years. But anyway, I am going to try to do more woodworking projects, and I have a couple ideas for them. For example, first off, I promised Mark across the pond, Mark, I am going to finish my Ridgid oscillating spindle sander, and I will put... I will do a full video on that to show you details of how it works. Because that thing really works so well now on dust collection. But I just want to, like I promised myself, I wanted to work with it a while. Now I have a design in mind for that upper box chamber. So I'll get that done so that it's easy to use. And then I'll show the details about how it really set up and why it's set up the way it is. So anyway, that would be the first thing I'll do here pretty quick in the next, probably within the next 30 days, you'll see what's going on there. Some of the other projects I want to do, I definitely have some things I want to do to this. I want to add a 12-volt system to it so that if I want to use 12 volts to charge to work on something, I'll be able to, or run something on 12 volts. I also have some ideas about my panel saw. Now, it's been almost 7 years ago. It was the second project I think I did, major project, for the shop. after I built my gripper. Gripper was my first video I ever did. And then the next thing I did was this 2x4, styrofoam 2x4s, which also led to my panel saw on my overhead door, where I can set it up and take it down so it doesn't. I have a panel saw capability for plywood, but it's not this big, huge monster that takes up a lot of space. And in a small shop, that works really great. Anyway, 7 years, I haven't done anything with it. It's just been working. And there's improvements I can make to it and some things I've learned about it. So I think maybe I'm going to do a quick review of that. And I may take and talk about some of the changes I may want to do. And then if I do those changes this year, I'll show you what they look like. So, but I do have some strong thoughts about that. I think that styrofoam, vertical styrofoam could slide easier when I have to move it. And also, I think maybe I might play with the angle. Right now, it's still setting about 12 degrees, I think. But I think maybe I'd like to bring it out a little further to make it a little easier to do vertical cuts. So, and I think that if I can slant that out a little bit more, it should be fine. I have enough room to be able to move it out. So, I don't know why it has to set so far upright. Anyway, these are just some of my thoughts. And so let me review that. I'm going to play with it a little bit extra because I haven't used it in a while anyway. I don't cut much plywood up. But I think that's going to be one of my big projects this year too. So stay tuned for that. Also, I have an idea for a project that I saw somebody make it. They took a Ryobi battery and he 3D printed and used a relay, put everything in this nice little package, and he could snap a Ryobi battery on it, and basically what it was a light. But what made it unique is that you plugged it into the wall and flipped the switch to standby. There was no light. If you wanted to turn the light on, you flip the switch one way, and then the light comes on. If you if the power goes out and it's on standby, when all the lights go out, this one goes on. And I thought that's actually kind of a nice little light to have. And if I use it with Ryobi batteries, I can just switch my battery out with a fresh one once a year or so. And it should be always on, ready to go if something happens. So I'm thinking about this light and how to make it. And that's what I think my woodworking is going to come in. Because I think what I want to do is make this all up in such a way that it looks like one of those carry lanterns or one of those candle lights that you pick up and carry around when you walk from room to room. I think I may make the body of it in that style. So anyway, stay tuned. I think maybe that's going to be a really fun project, and that's something I can do that's kind of electrical with my Ryobi batteries, but it's also going to be a really cool wood project to build the little lantern box and try to make it as unique looking as I can, but as much like a kerosene light or something, a lantern that we can too. So anyway, I might even make it with an overhang and hang it on the ceiling or something. I'm just not sure how to deal with the electric cord if I do that. Anyway, but that's for down the line when we're starting to think about that. What else do I want to do? I am going to, I don't know if I'm going to do it this year, but I really need to dabble in solar energy. So I think I may put together a small 300 watt or a 600 watt panel array of some kind so I can charge up my battery systems from solar. That way I can also take, and I want to hook up a charger to my unit and run it off of the DC and have it to where I can just take my Ryobi batteries and plug them here instead of plugging them into the wall, and they'll be getting charged. And then this would stay charged up from solar so that actually my batteries, and it give me a chance to kind of play with the solar. I did buy a 3000 watt inverter, 120 volt, the EG4. It's a known good unit. It's like half the power of this, and it's only 120 volts. But I also bought another 5000 kilowatt battery, a 48-volt battery. And I'm going to make, and you've seen guys make that using that type of components and making one on a 2-hand cart. Only I'm going to make a really nice little dolly, my own, and have it all set on it so it's like a little cube. Because I want to make it a little more compact than having that thing standing real tall. I'm going to have it short and on wheels. And that way you can roll it to where you want. I'll put some kind of rope on it to be able to roll it around. And that sort of thing. So I think we can make some improvements on it and be able to, even though it'll weigh about 140 pounds probably, I'll have it so that you can tip it up on 2 wheels and pull it around like a 2-wheel dolly if you have to. So I think I'm going to make a nice little cart for that really makes it all come together. And it'll also be able to run a 30-amp circuit. Actually, I'll be able to run my garage, my shop, off of that battery system then. So I'll disconnect the house and run that thing to run the house, and then use the solar to help keep it charged up and kind of get a feel for how long I can go in my shop with that unit. So anyway, something to dabble with. So I did buy that because I want to make this off-grid. Also, it gives me redundancy, so if something happens to that, I can plug that and then power the whole house. The only thing I can't run with the smaller solar, the smaller battery, HBS, I guess, the small HBS, the only thing I won't be able to run is my 240 equipment. So my furnace won't run and my well water won't run, but I could run everything else without any problem in a pinch. So I am going to build that one. So stay tuned for that. I also am very seriously thinking about building, just for fun, a Seplo battery. If you've seen that, where you buy the cells separately and then you buy the battery kit and you put the batteries in and you build it all up, and when you get done you have a 14 kilowatt 48 volt battery. It's not a bad unit, and the price is a lot cheaper than 3 of these batteries, and that's 15 kilowatts. The thing I would build, the Seplo, is a 14.3 kilowatt, so it's less than a gigabyte difference, but it's also almost half the price of what I paid for 3 of those. So I think maybe I may build one of those just for fun, and then I'll just take that 4th EG battery that I bought. It's a match set to these 3. I'll just put it on here and increase this to 20 kilowatts of power, and then that'll also have its own 15 kilowatts of power. And then I should have a lot of power around here if the power goes out. I should be able to go for a few days. Anyway, with the generator, and as long as I keep some gas on, I can go a month easily, keeping my power going for a month. So I think I'm very close to having that whole thing put to rest at this point. And I think this year, if I don't get the solar, I'll at least have the second HBS, and I'll have enough I'll have, I hope, at that point, close to 29 kilowatt hours of battery power at my disposal. So that should be enough to protect me over a period of time, even if I have to buy a second generator, which I might. I might consider buying a second generator if we have much problem, because I have to tell you, don't be surprised if we have some power outages more than we anticipate. I've been watching on the news and on YouTube, hearing these reports. In Washington, the state, they're having a lot of problem with substation vandalism. They're knocking out power to grids of homes, thousands of them at a time, by sabotaging these substations. And sometimes they can be out for a period of time then, depending on what kind of damage they do. So just kind of thinking, what happens if something like that happens across the country? From within, we have some problems, and it could happen. So anyway, I want to be as prepared for being able to have power the whole time. And so I think I can at least perpetually do everything if I have to. And I at least will hopefully outlast any kind of problem, because whatever hits us, I would think that we ought to be able to fix it within 30 days. So, and I can still hunker down in the house. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Some of them a little radical. Some of the other things I want to do, fun projects. I have I hope you're still here, but I'm going to keep rambling because I got a lot to go. I have a lot of other things I want to talk about and do this year. I want to talk about senior citizen security, home security, how being senior citizens, how you can, and ways that we can kind of protect ourselves, because quite honestly, we are prime targets, in my opinion, in the open public. And they can come at you from all different directions, even at your house, when you think about it. This is a long conversation over a long period of time, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about these things. But I am going to talk about it because I worry about you-know-who. And she is probably one of the most prime targets that somebody would see if that's what they have in mind, that they would go after. So anyway, we'll put that aside for now. And it may include a minor conversation sometimes about using firearms, but that's not really what this is about when I talk about security and senior citizen security, because there's lots of other ways you can protect yourself without using a firearm. In fact, chances of you having to use the firearm, having it on you, it just depends on how fanatical you are wanting to have a firearm on your side. So anyway, I'm getting off. But I do want to talk about those things. Home security, I'm still looking at cameras and trying to figure a good system for cameras to put up around the perimeter to maybe be able to watch it when I want. What else have I got in line? Oh, overhead block and tackle. I've got some ideas about it. I've seen people put these on, and they put these big long rails on so they can move this thing back and forth 12 feet. I have an idea how you can make a simple, small system that you can attach to your ceiling at multiple locations, make little short runs, and be able to use a simple block and tackle on it so that you can still quickly put something around your shop and be able to use an overhead hoist once in a while. And you can put it anywhere you want, or even make it so that you can take it down and put it up in many locations. So stay tuned for that. It's something I want to at least talk about and see what your idea is about. So basically what I'm telling you is that I may not do as much woodworking projects or shop projects as I did in the past. I've tried, but I really have been into my electrical stuff lately. Last year, I was fanatical about all my electrical work. Again, I blame HBS there, because that took a lot of my thought and a lot of my focus went to building that thing. I hope this year we will make more and more woodworking projects. I would love to do it, and maybe I might even once in a great while, maybe I should once a year actually still make a really cool woodworking project just to make one. And we'll kind of go through that in the process of what I do to be able to do those things. So anyway, if you have any thoughts, any suggestions about any new videos, let me know. Oh, one more thing. This year, I promise, I'm going to do a major cleanup in here because this place has gotten out of hand. And I'm going to do it. And I have to tell you, for the next couple weeks, I have a lot of rambling I want to do. So stay tuned. Even though I haven't been working as much around the shop, the old brain has been going full speed. So I still have a lot of ideas that we're going to ramble about. And I hope you kind of help give me these ideas a little bit more refined and maybe even go off on a tangent on a new one. I promise you, there may not be quite as much woodworking as there has been in the past around here. There will definitely be as much OTB thinking as there ever was. And because when we do things around here, we usually do them a little different than most. So, thank you for staying this long. If you have, if you're new to this, to here, welcome to my shop. There's a lot that I've done in the past. You can look through my videos, a lot of subjects out there. Most of them are still pretty unique as far as ideas in the shop. So check them out. Don't be afraid to look through my channel and see what I have. I want to thank you for coming by. Oh, real quick, if you notice, I started to wear these again. I had a habit of put them on sometimes, but My eyes have been wonderful since the cataract surgery in both eyes. I can see so well now. It's just a full success. But just like when I was younger, I am back to needing reading glasses. So you're going to start seeing the glasses on my face a little more often than you used to. So, but thanks for coming by. If you like this video, you learned something here, hit that like button. Lets me know that I'm doing something right. Most importantly, please come back again, because I'm nowhere near done. And you might want to bring that coffee with you next time. Thanks. We'll see you guys again very soon.